Hello everybody and welcome to Infinity Bottle Evolution. This is my brand new channel to kick off the year 2022. I've decided to dedicate a channel specifically to my personal infinity bottle from the very first pour right up until the end of my life. Now the question you may be asking yourself is, what's an infinity bottle? Well, what an infinity bottle is it's a blend of different whiskeys, classically whiskeys, but can be done with other spirits as well. There's beauty in having an infinity bottle is there's no real wrong way to do it. The whole idea, it's a mother. I've created a mother bottle. I'm going to be adding to that bottle. I'm going to be pouring from that bottle. It's going to be constantly kind of going through different development stages and doing different things. I'm excited to try this. This is a new thing for me. I will advise in advance that my palate as far as bourbon is concerned is okay. I've been drinking bourbon for a number of years now, and my palate gets better and better. I definitely am in no way, shape, or form as professional as some of the other great people that I follow on the internet. People like Bourbon Junkies, love those guys. I've learned so much from watching their YouTube channel. Anyways, getting to my infinity bottle. What I did is I did pour this 3 days ago to get started. And what I did first and foremost is I found a bottle that I really like. So what I did as far as the bottle I really like, it's this particular bottle that you're looking at here. This is a beautiful bottle. This comes from IW Harper, 15 year. I was down to the tail end of this bottle. I had 2 ounces left in there of IW Harper. So decided to saving it for a special occasion. Let's start the bottle with it. So what I did first and foremost, clean the bottle really well. I dumped that IW Harper out into a glass jar, washed this bottle out thoroughly, got all the stickers, markings off. That way I could ensure that there was no kind of lingering IW Harper that's going to overpower the bottle for the long haul. So once that I cleaned and dried the bottle, I poured that 2 ounces of IW Harper into my bottle. Now, my rule with my personal bottle, I'm going to go mostly bourbon. I'm going to let some American whiskeys in the mix though, here and there. I don't buy a lot of American whiskeys, so it's all about what I get in my house. One thing I don't plan on adding is I do not plan on adding ryes. I don't plan on adding scotches. I plan on keeping this a little bit more bourbon based, generally speaking. I'm also going to avoid finished bottles. So I have some bottles that are sherry finished. I have a bottle that's cut with cold brew coffee. I'm not going to add those in the mix because they really could overpower the flavor profile. Now, once again, the flavor profile is going to change pretty aggressively through the life of this bottle. But the whole idea is every time I sip the bottle, I'm going to do it with you guys here. I very well might have people joining me from time to time for sippings of this bottle. Anytime I take from this bottle, I'm planning on putting something else back in there. So today we're gonna kind of explore the bottle, the foundation that I've built. Like I said, I did it about 3 days ago. So it's been developing, kind of marrying the different bourbons for a few days now. I haven't tried it yet. Right now we're looking at 23 different bottles that I put into this bottle. So I've got a pretty good base. When we finish up today, after we do our first tasting, we're going to add 2 more things in the mix just for a little bit of fun and to give us something to look forward to next time. So let's talk about what's in this bottle. So once again, first off, IW Harper 15-year bourbon. Fantastic stuff. 2 ounces of that in the mix here. Really beautiful bottle too. I'm definitely on the hunt for another one of those bottles at the right price point for my personal collection, but that's a story for another time. Another thing that I put in the bottle, so the next 5 bottles we're going to talk about are all 1 ounce pours into the bottle. What we have here is we have Peerless Small Batch, really nice bottle. Recently picked this up. First time I had Peerless, definitely enjoying it so far. 1 ounce of that in the mix. Next up, Bib and Tucker. Bib and Tucker 10-year. Really like this bourbon. I've been a big fan of this 6-year. 6-year might be one of my personal favorite daily drinkers. The 10-year, really nice bottle. Definitely worth a couple extra bucks in my opinion. Russell Reserve 10-year. This is another one I didn't have any experience with in the past. As you can see, I recently got this bottle. I'm enjoying it so far, so I decided to pour 1 ounce in there. Next two are some staples in my personal bottle collection. Noah's Mill. I love Noah's Mill. People love it or hate it. I think it's a fantastic high proof bottle at a reasonable price point, readily available. I can't talk nicely enough about Noah's Mill and the fact that everyone out there should have a bottle of Noah's Mill in their liquor cabinet if they're a bourbon drinker. Another one that's a staple of mine, Blade and Bow. A very good friend of mine turned me on to this a number of years ago. It's just his personal, one of his favorites. Ever since he turned me on to that bottle, I've always kept a bottle on hand. I think it's a fantastic bottle. Another one that's $50 bottle, give or take. Pretty readily available. You can usually find them out and about. So those are the different things that I added 1 ounce of. Now we have quite a few that we're going to look at next. These are all half-ounce pours. Half ounce is the smallest amount I'm going to go in my infinity bottle. So I've done a half ounce of all these because I really didn't want to fill the bottle all the way up, but I wanted to add a lot of different flavors to kind of get things going. I very well might end up adding some more of these in the future to this bottle as maybe I reach the end of a bottle, or I just kind of decide, you know what, I think I want a little more of that in there. So all of these remaining bottles, all half-ounce pours into the bottle here. Right, so let's get started with those. Bluebird Distilling 4-grain bourbon. Pretty nice one. Recently got this. A little overpriced in my opinion, but pretty cool bottle. I always like something that's got, a lot of different mash going on. This being a 4-grain has 4 different pieces in the mash bill. So really pretty good bottle. I'm enjoying it so far. This one's a little bit of a hidden gem that same friend who turned me on to Blade and Bow recently turned me on to. Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's Kentucky Bourbon. Really good bottle. Really good mixer. It's like I think a $15 bottle or so. There's rumors out there that it's tied to Buffalo Trace. I don't know. I have no idea if that's true or not. But in my opinion, for a mixer, $15 a bottle, really great bottle. Have a bottle of that going, was at the tail end. So half ounce of that one in there and got a fresh one on the sidelines. Next up in the mix, Michter's American whiskey. So this is the first American whiskey we're talking about. Another one that recently picked up, put about a half ounce in there just to, I didn't want to go too heavy with anything that wasn't bourbon, as I definitely am going to have bourbon as my solid basis for this bottle. This is a bottle that I've really enjoyed. Discovered this on a road trip this year with my brother. New Southern Revival straight bourbon whiskey. It's made with a red corn. It's a really, really good bottle. This is their higher proof bottle. Really like it. It was a little bit on the pricey side, but I've really enjoyed that bottle to this point. This one, I apologize if I can't pronounce the name properly. This is another one that I put a half ounce in. Bottle that I don't really love. Just kind of boring in my opinion. Hirsch the Horizon. It jumped out at me on the shelf because it's a blend of a 4-year and a 6-year. It's okay. It's just not exciting. It just doesn't do a lot for me on a day-to-day basis. One of my original go-to bottles, I live in Pennsylvania, which is a state store. State, meaning that there's not private liquor stores here. So the things that we can get in Pennsylvania generally are a little bit more limited. So as I first entered the world of bourbon, I wasn't really knowing what to grab. I was kind of going to the state store and some of this. I've recently started making more trips over to New Jersey, half hour out or so, and I have a lot more variety that way. But regardless, this is very readily available. Elijah Craig Small Batch, solid bottle. Was one of my favorite bourbons early on. I still enjoy it. It's just something I don't drink as regularly at this point. No rhyme or reason to it. Just, a lot of things in the cabinet that we have to drink. So some things kind of get pushed to the backside. Another new bottle that I recently got, Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Really nice bottle. Little unique in its flavor profile. It's the, I guess technically this has a finish of the double oaking. I'm not really considering that a finish, so that was okay to add to my bottle. Once again, that's about a half-ounce pour. Another one that I might slaughter the name on, Calumet, I don't know, Calumet Farms, 12-year. Bottle that a buddy of mine recently picked up for me on a trip to Kentucky. A good bottle, has a little bit more burn than I anticipated for a 12-year, but I did put a half-ounce of that in the mix. Something I've been reaching for a little bit more frequently since I picked it up a week or so ago, George Dickel 15-year. I always equated Dickel with junk when I didn't know much about bourbon. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think that's a really great bottle. I mean, I really can't imagine you're going to find another 15-year whiskey on the shelf for $60 readily available. So I think it's really cool for the price point. It's a pretty low proof. I think it's 80 proof. Yeah, 80 proof bottle. So kind of a cool one that I've been enjoying. A staple, Four Roses single barrel. I did put a half-ounce of this in the mix as well. Definitely, right now I only have that one bottle of Four Roses, but as I know they have a lot of different makeups with the single barrel, Four Roses single barrel. I do plan on picking up some more of those bottles along the way, and I'm sure more of them will make it in the mix. Another one that when I was first starting off in my bourbon tasting, I bypassed on the shelf, thinking it was cookie cutter because it was something that I saw all the time. Maker's Mark. But I think Maker's Mark is, as I've developed my palate a bit, Maker's Mark is a nice bottle. This is the Cask Strength, so it's a nice, powerful bourbon. It's got a little bit of bite to it. It's very affordable. I think I paid like $35 for this bottle or something, and it's 110 proof. I can't speak highly enough that don't discount Maker's Mark. I think, Maker's Mark has some wonderful products. Staying on that same tune, Maker's Mark does a line of private selects. This is a bottle from Roger Wilco over in New Jersey. Really, really like this bottle. As you can see, it's pretty full, but once again, another bottle of Maker's. There's only 246 bottles of this out there. Private selects are cool. There's a little story pamphlet here about how it all works. Something that I definitely encourage you to check out. I really don't think you can go wrong with a Maker's Mark Private Select. One of my least favorite bourbons in my collection. I live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and I bought this simply because it was distilled within my county. Dark Hollow from Hune. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just not my thing. I'm going to revisit the bottle, but not crazy about it. So regardless, like I said, if it's here, half-ounce is going in. So a half-ounce did make it in the mix. Next up, this is a bottle that I recently got. A friend of mine grabbed me in Kentucky. He talked to the master distiller years ago before they had a product developed, and was excited to see this on the shelf. Bluegrass. This is a high rye, cask strength, nice bottle. It's a little on the young side, but it's got some bite. It's a nice bottle. I'm enjoying it so far. This is another one that I grabbed solely just to try. Saw a lot of people talking about this on Reddit and things of that nature. Stumbled across the bottle for $20 recently. Not a bourbon. It's a corn whiskey, Kentucky corn whiskey, so call it a bourbon if you want. It is bottled in bond, so it's been aged for at least 4 years. The good old Mellow Corn. I love this bottle. I think it's, as you can see, it's a new bottle. I made an old fashioned with it, went down like water. I thought it was fantastic. I'm interested to continue to try that. But yeah, good bottle for the price for sure. Because we all know bourbon is getting more and more expensive by the minute. Another one in the mix, Pinhook. So Pinhook is something that I've had a couple bottles of now, and I've really enjoyed every bottle of Pinhook until I got to this. This is the Vertical Series, the 5-year Bourbon War. Doesn't do a lot for me. It's okay. It's 104 proof. I'll tell you, there was a bottle of, I can't recall the name of it off the top of my head, but it was a Cask Strength, or it was a high proof Pinhook, and I greatly preferred that to this bottle. I'll continue to go back to it. And then the last one in the mix currently, Davies County. Now this is a little bit less expensive bottle. I think it's like a $30 to $40 bottle. A 96 proof. As you can see, this one's been hanging in my cabinet for a while, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So we did put a ½ ounce of that in the mix as well. So that's everything in the bottle, guys. So we're looking at 23 different bourbons, whiskeys mixed into this one bottle. So what we're going to do next is we are going to go ahead and see what we're working with. So this is my first time cracking the bottle. I apologize, my camera setup's not great, so you're not really going to be able to see my pours, but I'm going to pour myself a ½ ounce. And we're going to see what we think. Okay. Right out of the gate, on the nose, I get a lot of corn. Caramel, vanilla, maybe a little butterscotch in the mix. Sweet smelling for sure. All right, let's see. Wow. That's good. It's really kind of crazy. You get that mouthfeel, that classic bourbon mouthfeel, but pretty sweet mouthfeel. Not as much heat as I expected, to be honest. It definitely goes down pretty smooth considering how many things are in the mix. Definitely on the sweet side. Definitely get some caramel in there. Definitely get some vanilla in there. You definitely get a lot of your classic bourbon kind of characteristics, but it kind of hops around a lot. One sip to the next, it's really kind of throwing me for a loop. But I guess that's the whole idea of this project, right? Decent. All right, so as promised, that was a ½ ounce out of the mix. So now what we need to do is we need to add some new things to the mix to keep this interesting and fun. We'll start with one that I looked over the other day in my collection. I don't really remember liking this bottle so much, but it's produced and bottled in the town that I live. So needless to say, I keep a bottle on hand. 1675. It doesn't say distilled. It says produced and bottled by 1675 Spirits, Bensalem, PA. Lower proof, 80 proof. Once again, I don't remember particularly loving this bottle. Thinking it was a little on the young side in my personal opinion. But we're gonna add a ½ ounce of that into the mix here. All right. And then a bottle that I'm kind of excited to crack over here. Weller Special Reserve. Haven't had one of these. A friend of mine was in Kentucky and was at the liquor store, and 2 bottles showed up. So those 2 bottles left with him, and one made it to my collection, one made it to his. So we're gonna go ahead with a full ounce of this, as I know that it's something that I've tried before. I've just never had a bottle of my own. So I know it justifies that 1 ounce pour into the bottle. All right, guys, so that takes us through step one of the evolution of my personal infinity bottle. I look forward to taking you all along on this voyage, long-term, big picture. This video was a little bit on the longer side. We're just at 20 minutes now. I'm expecting most of my videos are going to be 5-10 minutes long, much quicker, as we're not going to go through 23 bottles prior to having that tasting. Please, if you like what you saw today, hit that subscribe button, follow us, like us, whatever the kids do these days. Once again, no judgment here. We're not bourbon snobs. We are not whiskey snobs. We don't have all the ins and outs. We are not professionals. This is just a fun project for me and something that I really look forward to sharing with my friends, especially my friends who enjoy bourbon. I plan on never letting this bottle really fall below 50% full. I plan on keeping this bottle with me for the remainder of my life. So once again, thanks for joining us on our first episode. Stay tuned. We'll definitely be back with more. Happy drinking and stay safe out there.